Hey there, it is Chanel here from the Heart and Soul with your weekly Oracle card reading for April 18th through the 24th, 2022. Feeling much better today, still in my cozy comfies, still not 100%, but testing negative, which is fantastic, as is most of my family. So we are on the mend and that makes my heart happy. Happy Easter for all those who were celebrating this past weekend. I hope you had a wonderful time. We stayed close to home without friends and family this year and huddled together instead to try to keep everybody else safe, doing our part. Okay, a little spiritual guidance to get you through this week. I hope you survived last week. It was a little bit all over the place with the energies, and it feels like this week's going to be about the same, but let's see what the cards have to say. Card deck wise, I was really drawn to the Goddess Power Oracle card deck by the lovely Colette Baron-Reid, a fellow Canadian. Makes me so proud. Another spiritual diva, and of course, it's 3 cards. That's what we always draw. That is card number 1. Now these cards are used both upside right and upside down, and when they're upside down, it just draws attention to the card in a different way. So that is how they are in the deck. I swish them and shuffle them and all that good stuff to see where things land. So let's see our 3 cards for this week. So our first card is upside right. It is Sophia and it is divine wisdom. And I love this beautiful energy of the crown here because this is our connection to the divine. It is this chakra-wise, our root and our crown open upward and downward to connect us to Mother Earth for grounding and the divine connection to the heavens for that divine connection. We've been saying this a lot, but those answers that you are looking for are there when you tap into that divine connection. When you can get really centered and connected and quiet, you're going to hear the things that you need to hear, or at the very least, you're going to know who to reach out to for help or support. This divine connection is so important in the movement forward as we keep on talking about it. It's because this connection will help us keep us grounded and centered, but also on the right track. Okay, let's see card number 2. Upside down, this one is. It is Mama Kocha and it's water. Water is an element used for cleansing and clearing. And I feel like in this, it's interesting because I keep on seeing, it's a shell she's holding in her hand, but I keep seeing it like a snowball. And it feels like this piece of sometimes we're frozen in time. And I really feel like that's where we are right now. But then there's also this image I keep seeing of just this cloud burst of rain washing over us, clearing away things, cleansing the body and the soul. We can do that with a bath or washing. Shower is actually better than a bath. In a shower, it washes over us and it washes down the drain and takes all that negativity and heaviness with it. But this water element here is the fluidity as well. They keep just throwing things at me. This fluidity of creating new pathways in the brain. So we need fluids, we need water in general to stay healthy, but also for the brain. When we're learning new things, we need that water to keep those neural pathways fluid and moving. And they're showing me that as well, that as we are washing away, maybe you've noticed you have had to go pee a little bit more, but it's like the body is cleansing and we want to drink as much water as we can. And it's not, and I've noticed over this last week too, I'm not a huge water drinker. I drink it because I know I should, but I hate that it's just plain. So, but I've had this urge to drink a lot of water this week and just kind of flush things. It feels like I am just needing to wash things away. And I feel like that is part of this card as well this week. So many things around that cleansing and nourishing our bodies and our souls. Also, it feels like the connection, I know for myself in the shower, is this, I have like this beautiful divine connection. I do some great thinking in the shower. So the water washing over us, or even when it rains, that sound of the rain, which is so relaxing. We're really lucky. We live near a whole bunch of waterfalls, and that even the sound of that water is just so cleansing and purifying for the body and the soul. Our last card is upside right. Iris, and it is communication. Sorry, sometimes I just feel like I get bombarded with the messages that come through, and it just takes me a second to process it, to feel it, and be able to share it with you. We have talked about this a lot as well, this piece of communication, and communication is really important. One, with the divine, with ourselves, but also the communication we have with others. Things are getting lost in the communication, and it feels like there's a lack of communication going on right now because people are frustrated, are angry, are, feeling really stuck right now. And sometimes it's easier to just bottle those things up instead of actually communicate them. It's harder to have that difficult conversation than it is to just keep going back to the same old, or sitting quietly. I've talked about it before that, we often think that it's easier just to go back and do the same thing or stay where we are. But the reality is the little bit of hard work that has to be done outweighs the pain of staying put. They just keep on stating again and again, clear communication, clear communication. When we speak from a place in our heart, then that communication becomes more clear and it becomes more heart-centered, and it speaks to a different place than when we speak from our emotions. We want to speak from that intuitive center, that heartfelt center, that place of compassion, and share from that place. It feels really jumbled, and I feel like that's the energy of what's going on right now, that I'm feeling this disconnect that I'm feeling versus actually the disconnect in the message. It's funny how sometimes the messages come through in a way that we question whether it's like not receiving or it's actually feeling that stillness. Like I did with the snowball, it felt like standing still. It felt like just feeling the cold of that snowball in her hands and really just being present with it and being still to notice everything about it. It's similar to that in this communication piece, that we have to recognize the uncomfortableness of things to be able to, excuse me, like I said, not 100%. It's like we have to be present in the uncomfortableness to be able to have the communication about the things that need to be said, to be able to wash away what needs to no longer be present, and to really welcome forward what we need in our lives. So, yes, it does feel like another really heavy week this week of kind of more of being still and kind of listening and communicating. Those are the things, I know it's like I repeated, but that's what it feels like, that the chaos is more internal, and it's our internal dialogue on where we're going from here and how we get to the next place. So know that this week is about transition and contemplating that transition, not necessarily making that transition, but contemplating that transition and starting some of that foundational pieces that we need to kind of move things forward. Yeah. So much to take in. Thank you for watching today. I appreciate it so deeply. Please know I have an in-person gallery reading coming up, a Night with Spirit, mediumship reading on Friday, April 22nd from 7:30 to 9 at Dundas Yoga and Fitness in Dundas, Ontario. So if you're interested in that, there's still lots of spaces left. It'll be a quiet one, I think, this time. It's my first one back in person in a long time, so I wouldn't be surprised if it is quiet, which also means that typically everybody gets a reading. So if you want more information on that, check out my social media, or you can register online through my website. Please drop a tag below, tag somebody in the comments who needs to hear this today that might need it to get through their week. That is huge for me, and I appreciate you sharing my words. Thank you for allowing me to be your spiritual tour guide, and thank you for being here on my spiritual path from my heart and soul to yours. Have an amazing week.